Hey, come sit with me for a minute. I need to share something with you, something that took me decades to understand. For most of my life, I believed a fundamental lie about my own mind. A lie that kept me small, kept me tired, and honestly, kept me from my true destiny. You know that heavy, syrupy feeling of exhaustion? The one that tells you you've hit your limit, that the tank is empty, that you just don't have what it takes today. I lived there. That fog was my home. I thought it was just a fact of life. But what if I told you, friend to friend, that this feeling of being tired, this constant sense of being drained and distracted, it's not real. It's the most sophisticated illusion you've ever encountered. I've come to see that what we call fatigue isn't a wall, it's a doorway. It's not a sign of weakness, it's a test of your spirit. And what I'm about to share with you isn't just another motivational quote you'll forget by tomorrow. This is a key. A key to a part of yourself you were never meant to forget. A vast, powerful cathedral of consciousness that's been locked away inside you. But I have to give you a warning, and I need you to hear this with your whole heart. Once you walk through this door, you cannot go back. The person you are in this moment will be a memory. Your very vibration will change. You'll start to see the hidden patterns in the world, the beautiful, intricate web that connects everything, a web that most people are completely blind to. When chaos erupts around you, you'll find an unshakable center, a quiet strength forged in an inner fire. The way you think will become potent. So potent that it might even seem dangerous to those still clinging to their limitations. And those people you've always admired, the ones who seem to operate on a higher frequency. You'll realize you're not just joining them, you're about to surpass them. This isn't a journey about doing more. It is a divine, alchemical process of becoming more. It's about a total transformation of your soul. If any of this is making your soul hum, like a forgotten song you're starting to remember, that's your sign. That's your higher self telling you to listen. Acknowledge this moment of awakening. Show your alignment by liking this, subscribing for more truths, and share your own experience in the comments. Let the world know you're not alone by typing "I resonate" or 111. You're not crazy, you're waking up. I spent so many years trapped in that lie. It's a story whispered to us from birth, woven into the very fabric of our society. Listen to your body, they say. Don't push yourself too hard. It sounds like loving advice, doesn't it? But it's a gilded cage. They taught me, and they taught you, that this feeling of mental fatigue is a sacred boundary, a red line that signals the end of your capacity. The moment my focus would start to drift, the second I felt that familiar pull towards distraction, I'd surrender. I'd tell myself, well, that's it for today. The well is dry. I truly believed it. I saw it as a sign of biological truth, but it's not. It's the most subtle and effective spiritual prison ever designed. It keeps you safe, yes, but it keeps you from the vast, boundless ocean of your true potential. For years, I was a pawn in my own life, moved around by these biological impulses, these primal urges for rest and comfort, never once realizing I was born to be the sovereign ruler of my own inner kingdom. Have you ever felt that way, like you're playing a game where you don't even know the rules? So, I need you to listen to me now, not just with your ears, but with your soul. That mental fatigue you feel, it's not a lack of fuel in your brain, it's a phantom. A defensive hallucination created by a part of your mind that is terrified of your own power. Think of it as a ghost in your own machine. Its only purpose is to conserve energy, not to protect you from harm, but to limit your output. You have to understand, this incredible brain of ours is an ancient piece of hardware. It was designed for a world that no longer exists, a world of scarce food and constant physical threats. Its primary programming isn't to make you a visionary or a world-changing genius. Its most basic, hardwired instinct is to keep your body alive using the least amount of energy possible. It's a survival mechanism. So, what happens the moment a task becomes difficult? The second it demands you to stretch, to grow, to become uncomfortable, that ancient programming kicks in. It triggers a whole cascade of defenses. Suddenly, a wave of drowsiness washes over you. Your leg starts twitching, you feel restless. You have this overwhelming urge to just do anything else. That's your brain manufacturing a craving for a quick dopamine, fix scrolling your phone, grabbing a snack, watching some mindless video. It even whispers lies to you in your own voice. I'm not smart enough for this. I'll be more focused tomorrow. I've earned a break. Does that sound familiar? I know it does, because I lived it. These are not real signals of exhaustion. They are alarms from an outdated operating system. It's the ghost of your caveman ancestor screaming at you not to waste energy hunting a mammoth unless you're sure you're going to eat. But we're not hunting mammoths anymore, are we? We're in a completely different kind of battle now. We're fighting for mastery, for influence, for the spiritual power to shape our own reality in a world that is actively trying to sedate our minds and capture our focus. And that old survival code, it's now the biggest thing holding you back from your own evolution. The craziest part is, science is starting to catch up with this spiritual truth. Studies have shown something absolutely mind-blowing. When they test people who claim to be completely mentally exhausted, their brains are still firing on all cylinders. They have huge reserves of cognitive power left. The fatigue isn't in their cells, it's in their emotions. It's a feeling, a story they're telling themselves, not a physical reality. I mean, just think about it. How many times have you been dragging yourself through the day, convinced you can't possibly do one more thing, and then you get a call about something incredibly exciting, or an urgent problem pops up that you have to solve? What happens? Suddenly, bam, a tidal wave of energy and clarity floods your system. Where did that come from? Your brain didn't magically refuel itself. It was never empty to begin with. It just decided the new situation was important enough to override the energy-saving program. And that, my friend, is the secret. Fatigue isn't a brick wall. It's a negotiation. And the moment you realize you're the one in charge of that negotiation, everything changes. You stop asking for permission to be powerful. You start to dominate. This brings me to something that really blew my mind wide open. This idea of genius. I used to look at the great innovators, the artists, the leaders throughout history, and I saw them as a different breed. I imagined their brilliance was just effortless, that they were born with a different kind of brain that never got tired. But that's another illusion. The truth is, true, world-changing genius, the kind that builds empires, discovers new laws of physics, or creates art that lasts for centuries, it's almost never about having better hardware. It's about having a different operating system. It's the product of the few individuals who understood that fatigue was a test, not a final answer. They were the ones who learned that when that first wave of "I'm tired" washed over them, that wasn't the end of the road. It was the beginning of the real journey. That first layer of discomfort, that's where ordinary people turn back. They retreat into the comfort of self-care, telling themselves they'll try again tomorrow. They spend their whole lives living in that safe harbor. But the legendary mind, the mind that forges its own destiny, sees that feeling of fatigue as the first checkpoint. It's a sign that they're on the right track. And when everyone else is running for comfort, they lean into the storm. That's how you unlock it. That's the dark energy activation. Beneath the chattering, anxious surface of your everyday mind, there is a second mind, your higher self. It's been waiting for you, but it doesn't just show up. It's buried deep beneath all your habits of comfort seeking, your instincts to conserve energy. But when you make the conscious choice to resist that initial wave of fake fatigue, when you refuse that easy exit, something profound happens inside you. It's like a chemical storm. Your brain floods with neural adrenaline. It rewires your dopamine pathways. Your mind literally starts feeding on itself, generating energy from the very act of overcoming resistance. It's like a muscle that grows stronger, not from the easy lifts, but from the ones that push it to failure. Under that pressure, your mind becomes a sharpened blade. Things that seemed impossible suddenly become automatic. You slip into a deeper, more potent state of being what some call hyperfocus. It's a state of ruthless analysis and relentless problem-solving. It's a space where you stop trying to do the work, and the work starts flowing through you. I know this sounds intense, and it is. This transformation is terrifying to people who have never experienced it, because it's a mirror. It shows them the vast, divine potential they've let atrophy within themselves. And this leads to a forbidden universal law, the law of mental inversion. Your real mind, your divine mind, is only born in the crucible of fatigue. Every single meaningful breakthrough you will ever experience in your life will happen just on the other side of that point where everyone else quits. That moment of excruciating discomfort, where your entire being is screaming for you to stop. That's not a warning sign, that's a signpost. It's pointing directly to where your destiny is forged. If you can push past that, you tap into reserves of power and clarity that most people will live and die without ever knowing they had. And once you've been there, your perception of the world changes forever. You start to see other people's complaints and excuses for what they are not truths, but the bars of a cage they have willingly locked themselves inside. But you will be unchained. And once you taste that freedom, even for a moment, you can never go back to being a prisoner. You'll realize your mind isn't some fragile glass machine that needs to be coddled. It's a nuclear engine, and it's been chained down by the illusions of fear and fatigue. That feeling of fatigue isn't your limit, it's your leash. Every time you give in, you tighten it. Every time you push through, you weaken it, and you keep weakening it until one day, it just snaps. And in that moment of freedom, you stop living in the small, cramped world built for ordinary minds. You start operating in a reality they can't even begin to comprehend, because the mind that masters fatigue masters the world. So here's the challenge I'm laying down for you, for myself, for anyone who feels that call. You have 90 days. 90 days to completely demolish the timid, conditioned mind they trained you to protect. You were born into a reality that is designed to make you soft. It wants you to obey fatigue, to surrender when things get tough, to constantly seek the warm, numbing embrace of comfort. Almost no one ever escapes this programming, but that quiet whisper inside you, the one that's telling you there's more, the one that yearns for a cognitive overclock, that's the real you. And you have to answer its call. This isn't about self-help, it's about self-liberation. It's a form of psychological warfare against your own limitations. And believe me, it will change you forever. If this kind of ruthless intelligence and mental mastery calls to you, I've put together something special. It's called the Whispers Power Bundle. It's every tool I've ever found, every ebook, every audiobook. It's not just a collection, it's an arsenal. The links are right there in the comments and the description. You owe it to yourself to check them out. But listen, even with all the willpower in the world, you'll fail if you don't do this next part. You have to build a frictionless environment. Once you've pierced the illusion of fatigue, you come face to face with the next great enemy, friction, your environment. Because even if you have boundless energy, if your world is a chaotic mess of distractions, you're still fighting a losing battle. You're not weak. You're just engaged in a silent war against 1,000 invisible enemies every single minute of the day. This is the war for your focus, and it's happening right now. Every single notification that pops up on your screen, every little noise you tolerate in the background, every browser tab you leave open, just in case, these aren't harmless little things. I want you to see them for what they are, cognitive parasites. They are tiny little vampires, each one taking a small sip of your precious mental energy. Individually, they seem insignificant, a single drop of blood. But over the course of an hour, a day, a week, those thousands of tiny sips drain you dry. It's catastrophic. Every single one of those harmless distractions costs you 3 things you can never get back. The time it takes to react to it, the mental energy it takes to refocus your mind, and a piece of your deep work stamina that gets chipped away. You might only glance at a message for 30 seconds, but the science is clear. It can take you up to 20 or 30 minutes to get back into that same state of deep, unbroken concentration you were in before. And most people, they live their entire lives in this state of constant, low-grade interruption. They call it staying connected. But let's be honest, it's a form of modern-day slavery. It's what I call the dark law of mental thermodynamics. In the physical world, friction creates drag and heat, robbing a machine of its power. Well, your mind is no different. Every single source of friction in your environment, that open app, that random sound, that messy desk, that buzzing phonies, stealing your cognitive horsepower. It happens so quietly, so invisibly, that you don't even notice it until you're completely drained. The law is simple and brutal. The more friction you allow, the weaker you become. The cleaner and more weaponized your environment, the more superhuman your focus becomes. So, if you are serious about this, if you truly want to overclock your mind, you have to become a warrior. You have to wage merciless, absolute war on friction. Here's how you build your cognitive fortress. Your space, whether it's your office or a corner of your room, shouldn't just be clean. It must be engineered as a weapon for focus. Every single object in your line of sight must either serve your mission and accelerate your mind, or it must be eliminated. No exceptions. This is how the masters do it. First, you purge all the open loop. Every unfinished project, every bill on the desk, every mental note of, I should do that later. These are like tiny programs running in the background of your mind, draining your RAM. You have to ruthlessly close them. Either do them now or schedule them and get them out of your immediate awareness. Next, you kill all passive inputs. That means no social media feeds visible, no email open, no notifications of any kind. Turn them all off. Then, you set up high-cost barriers to distraction. You have to make it physically difficult to break your focus. Log out of your social media account so you have to re-enter your password. Put your phone in a different room, not just on silent. Use website blocking software. The whole idea is to create massive friction for any activity that isn't your main mission, and zero friction for the work itself. You have to anchor your environment to your destiny. Surround yourself with symbols of your goal, a powerful quote taped to your monitor, an object that represents what you're striving for, a specific playlist of music that primes your mind for battle, not for chilling out. And finally, you create a ritual to enter the zone. It has to be a consistent, physical action that tells your brain, it's time. It could be lighting a candle, the specific way you make your coffee, a particular song. When you do this consistently, your body learns to trigger your mind. Now for the psychological shift. You have to stop treating your attention like a free-for-all buffet. Most people let anyone and anything take a piece of their focus, a random thought, a coworker's question, a news alert. You have to become a predator. A predator is ruthlessly efficient with its energy. It doesn't waste a single joule on anything that doesn't lead to the hunt. Your attention is your energy. You will not allow random conversations to steal it. You will not tolerate background noise. You will not let boredom send you chasing after novelty. Focus is not something you wish for. It is a territory you defend with your life. You are either the master of your environment or its prisoner. There is no in-between. And this is the great, hidden secret of the highest achievers. If you look at them, Tesla in his silent labs, Newton obsessing over removing every disturbance, Bruce Lee designing his day to eliminate wasted motion, Napoleon creating a bubble of strategic silence. Even on the battlefield you see the same pattern. They weren't just lucky to be focused, they were architects. They engineered their entire world to demand it from them. And because their minds didn't have to fight against friction, their cognitive overdrive could last longer. Their breakthroughs came faster. Their domination became inevitable. If you're struggling to focus, you're not inferior. You're just living in an environment that was designed to shatter your concentration. The moment you change that, the moment you declare war on friction, you will feel your mind sharpen itself, like a blade being honed on a whetstone. It will feel like a stronger, more ruthless version of you was there all along, just waiting for the noise to finally stop. Your brain is capable of impossible endurance, but you have to stop letting the world slice it to pieces with 1,000 tiny distractions every day. Your battle isn't against laziness. It's against an entire ecosystem of invisible friction. And every piece of it you eliminate, every distraction you kill, every barrier you build it, forges your mind into a weapon that very few can ever hope to match. Most people will never know this power because they're too busy drowning in the noise. But you won't be one of them. Not anymore. So, you've silenced the lie of fatigue. You've forged your environment into a weapon. But that's not enough, my friend, because now you face the final boss, summoning that deep state of focus, that neural flow, whenever you command it. For most people, that feeling of being in the zone is a happy accident, a lucky day when the stars align, a random surge of inspiration. But for you, it's about to become a tool, a switch you can flip, like a soldier disengaging the safety on their rifle. No hesitation, no delay. First, you have to truly grasp what neural flow is. It's not just being focused. It's a complete neurological shift. It's a state where your perception of time literally collapses. Hours feel like minutes. Your sense of self, that little nagging voice in your head, it dissolves completely. And your cognitive performance, it doesn't just improve, it accelerates by 500 to 700%. That's not an exaggeration. That's science. Flow is your mind's ultimate weapon. When you're in it, your brain connects ideas faster than you can consciously track. Your reflexes become instantaneous. Your memory becomes photographic. Your creativity ignites. You stop trying to perform, and you become the performance itself. And the most important thing to understand is that this isn't magic. It's not a rare talent reserved for a chosen few. It is a predictable state, triggered by very specific psychological condition. And once you learn how to engineer those conditions, flow becomes a lever you can pull anytime you want. There are three main enemies that guard the gates of flow. The first is cognitive friction. That's when your mind is trying to juggle too many things at once, multiple projects, conflicting goals. You can't enter flow if your mind is a chaotic mess. The solution is ruthless single-mindedness. Before you start, you must choose one mission, and one mission only, and commit your entire being to it. The second enemy is a low entry cost. This sounds counterintuitive, but trying to gently ease into your work is the worst thing you can do. It's like trying to start a fire with a tiny spark in a hurricane. Your brain needs a jolt, an aggressive activation signal to shock it out of its lazy, energy-saving state. The solution is to start with the most brutal, mentally demanding part of your task immediately. Force the ignition. The third enemy is the presence of exit points. If your brain knows there's an easy escape route, your phone is within reach, you have other tabs open. Your notifications are on, it will never fully commit its deepest resources to the task at hand. It will always hold back, knowing it can just bail. The solution is to burn the boats. Erase every possible exit. Make flow the only way forward. You see, flow demands a sacrifice at the gate. It demands you offer up your comfort, your distractions, and your hesitation. It's a dark ritual of forced entry. Here is the 5-step process to override your own resistance and force yourself into neural flow. 1. Pre-commit to the mission. Before you sit down, decide with absolute, unshakable certainty what your single task is. No improvising, no changing your mind halfway through. 2. Set a brutal initiation challenge. Start with the hardest part. No warm-ups, no easy prep work. Attack the most violent, complex problem first. 3. Block all escape routes with physical barriers. Your phone goes in another room. Use an internet blocker. You have a single window open on your computer. You will not just check anything. 4. Trigger your priming ritual. This is your sensory anchor. It could be lighting a specific candle, playing a specific song, a timer ticking. Do the same thing every time. Your nervous system will learn to associate that trigger with deep work, and the process will become automatic. 5. Sprint past the pain barrier. The first 20 to 30 minutes will be hell. You'll feel scattered, slow, weak. This is your old programming fighting back. Do not judge it. Do not engage with it. Just ignore it and push through. I promise you, somewhere between the 30 and 40-minute mark, something will click. The resistance will break. Your brain will recalibrate, and the doors to flow will swing wide open. This is what I call the flow multiplier effect. Once you're in that state, your productivity doesn't just add up, it multiplies. A 5-hour task gets done in 45 minutes. A project that seemed overwhelming becomes an automatic process. Why? Because once your brain is fully engaged, it stops trying to budget energy. It stops resisting. It just dumps all of its cognitive resources into the mission. You're tapping into the same deep power reserves your body saves for life or death emergencies. And in that state, the entire world outside of your task, the noise, the self-doubt, the fatigue, it all just fades into meaningless background static. You don't have to cope with it because you've left it behind completely, but so few people ever experience this. Why? Because they are terrified of the intensity it demands. Flow requires total, unconditional commitment. It's an all-or-nothing game. You either burn through that initial wall of resistance, or you stay mediocre forever. Most people will always choose the easy path, the safe path, the comfort of never really going all in. But the few, the ones who were built for something more, will answer that call. They will sacrifice. They will evolve. And while the rest of the world wonders why their dreams just quietly fizzled out, you will be moving silently towards your destiny. The choice is yours, right now. Is this just another inspiring video you'll forget? Or is this the day you declare war on your own limitations? The day you stop waiting for permission to be powerful? The day you enter a battle no one else can see, but everyone will witness the results of when you win? This was never about working harder. It was about waking up to the weapon you've been carrying all along. Now you know where the door is. And once you've seen it, you can never unsee it. Your mind was not built for survival. It was built for supremacy. Forge it, bleed for it, and burn brighter than every fading genius around you. And when they ask you how you did it, just smile and say nothing. So, you've learned the secret of fatigue. You've weaponized your environment. You can summon flow on command. But now, you must understand the most advanced and dangerous truth of all. Even the strongest mind can destroy itself. A nuclear reactor, pushed beyond its limits, will melt down. Your mind is no different. Constant, unrelenting overclocking is a path to ruin. If you operate at maximum cognitive output without a strategy for recovery, you will not conquer the world. You will be a casualty of your own ambition. This is the fatal mistake that almost every overachiever makes. Most people never even touch flow. But the ones who do, the ones who taste that incredible power of an overclocked mind, they face a new danger: addiction. They get addicted to the rush, to the godlike productivity. They try to live in that state every second of every day. They start to believe they are invincible. And in that arrogance, they begin to ignore the subtle warning signs from their own biology. Their sleep starts to erode. Their emotions become volatile and unstable. Their creativity, once a fountain, runs dry. Their discipline turns brittle and snaps. They don't see the collapse coming until it's too late. Their mind, which was once a fortress, begins to rot from within. This isn't weakness. This is the trap of burnout, and it is a trap of your own making. The final key to true mastery is the art of controlled burnout. You cannot avoid burnout if you choose to live at the absolute edge of human performance. It's a law of nature, but you can control it. You can learn to treat it not as a failure, but as a deliberate, strategic part of your operating cycle. This is what I call the legend cycle, and it's the secret rhythm of those who perform at the highest level, not just for a few years, but for decades. The pattern is ruthlessly simple: surge, decelerate. Surge harder, decelerate smarter. They don't just go hard until they break. They build momentum, like a gathering storm, a period of controlled violence, followed by a period of strategic silence. Then they return, and the storm is even stronger. With every cycle, they become sharper. Every burnout, when it's managed with intention, becomes an upgrade. And while the people around them flicker and fade away, they grow darker, deeper, and more inevitable. You are not here to coast at 70% of your potential. You are here to learn the dark art of burning with the intensity of a star, and then rising, like a phoenix, even stronger from your own ashes. Most people work hard until they break. You will work smart until you are unbreakable. The mind that masters its own burnout becomes a mind that cannot be destroyed. The rituals of this dark recovery are not about lazy rest. While you are decelerating, you are not doing nothing. You are actively reconstructing your mind. This is how the elite do it. First, silent reflection sessions. Every day, for 30 minutes, you sit with your thoughts. No input, no books, no podcasts, no music, no conversations, just you and your mind. This is where you recalibrate your priorities and reforge your internal drive. Second, a deliberate dopamine reset. You cut out all the cheap, easy dopamine hits. No social media, no junk food, no mindless entertainment. You are retraining your brain to find deep pleasure in difficult things, in learning, in solitude, in the act of creation itself. Third, long-form study mode. You read deeply. You study complex subjects slowly and deliberately. The goal isn't speed, it's to recondition your mind for deep, calm, total absorption. Fourth, physical flow activation. You engage your body in light, restorative movement, walking, stretching, light lifting. This reignites the vital mind-body connection without taxing your nervous system. Finally, minimalist creation. You work on low-pressure creative projects, sketching ideas, building frameworks, writing rough drafts. This keeps the creative engine humming without the pressure of perfection. This is not resting as a reward for hard work. This is resting as a weapon to prepare for the next war. And what happens if you refuse this recovery? If you think you can just bypass your own biology? The price is steep. The symptoms of unmanaged burnout are devastating. Chronic brain fog that makes simple thoughts feel like wading through mud. Deep emotional volatility where you lose control. A shattered resilience to stress. A creeping cynicism that poisons your clarity. And a deep apathy that suffocates your ambition. And worst of all, you lose your identity. You forget who you are and why you started this journey in the first place. You lose the very fire that made you feel invincible. Not because you weren't strong enough, but because you didn't know that a warrior must also know